Hello again, this is Didi Eham coming to you with Even Mathwins. Today I have a very interesting episode I want to talk about. We're going to be talking about how to think, act, and then become a millionaire. That's one of my goals in life, to become a millionaire very soon, and I give myself 4 more years to not just become a millionaire, but to actually become a double-digit millionaire. So I'm overshooting, so at least I shoot to what my real goal is. Because if you just shoot to exactly what your goal is, you might undershoot, which might, make you not too happy. But I personally tend to overshoot, so I catapult myself into the arena where I want to be. So recently I read some very, very life-changing books. They're mindset books, and I read 5 books in 1 week, and these are like no joke, like itty bitty pages. Like these are, that'll be a whole episode about how you could do that, because I went through those books while I was doing some other things at the same time. So. But, the books I read were about the wealthy people, what they do, how they maintain wealth, how they promote generational wealth. Rich Dad, Poor Dad was one of them. My goodness, that book is very, very inspirational, and it just opens your mind to so many things that you wouldn't have known. Especially if you all have someone that's a millionaire, that's your best friend or close to you, or someone you can learn from. I don't know a lot of people that know millionaires or millionaires that talk to them a lot about different things. So reading books was just the way to get it from them, straight from the source. And it really opened my mind, because I'm like, I want to be like you, whatever you did. I want to be just like you, whatever it takes to be that. Give me your secret formula in this book. Thank you very much, and I'll go implement it the way I know how, So, and they say if you don't want someone to learn something, put it in the book, because not everybody likes to read. It is very true, because I am not the one to buy a book, sit down, and flip pages all day. That is not me. So it's very amazing how I was able to go through 5 mind-changing, life-changing, inspirational books in a week. So basically, from all these books, what I've concluded with how the rich manage their wealth is they are on a budget, on a strict budget. And back then, when you hear budget, you think, budget is for the poor, people who are in balling or whatever, because they have to count all their money to make sure they don't, slack or whatever. But no. These millionaires, these wealthy people, this is what they do. They have a whole system where they hire bookkeepers and accountants and people that do just work on their money to make sure their money is bringing back fruit. So if you think that budgeting is for the weak, think again, because that means that's why you probably haven't gone or reached where you need to reach. And so that was me. So I really actively started taking hold of my accounting this year. I mean, I've been very good with money journal all my life. Like I can never remember a time where I was just careless with money, or like just, spend it and then I'm just with nothing. I can never remember a time. Not that I'm too frugal to where I hold on to money, but it's just always been around me. Like I've never had need to, look for money. So the things I've done, I'm just gonna capitalize on what I've been doing, things that are working for me, and things that I know didn't work, I'm changing them. Like I would budget at the beginning of the year. I'll be like, this is how much all my bills cost, and I pay myself 10%, and I pay my tithe to God 10%, and that's it. But I didn't, I do that, and then I follow it for like the first 2 months and then I don't follow it again, or I don't put every single thing into that budget. So now they have these apps, and this is why I love technology these days. We are in the best times of the world. I mean, this is the best time to be alive. Everything is made so much easier, so simple. Everything is in your phone. You could get a car to get you from point A to point B just by doing some things, punching numbers in your phone. You can budget, put everything in your phone. So I downloaded this app. There's so many budgeting apps out there, but the one that I tried and is working for me is Every Dollar. So you put in every single thing that concerns you. You put in every single thing. How much you're gonna spend a month to eat out, to have fun, to pay your bills, pay your mortgage, rent, childcare, groceries, gas. Your vehicle is gonna mess up, so you need to budget for that in case it messes up. You wanna go do your nails, your hair, whatever, you put it in there. Like those things you don't think of that just takes money away, you put it in there. If you wanna, give to charity or just give money to family members or whatever, budget it in there so that every single dollar is accounted for. And what I started also doing is when I'm in the store or in a restaurant, if I buy something, I'm pulling out my phone and I'm putting in how much it just cost me right now to subtract from my budget. That's why I love that app so much. And my husband laughs at me because it's like, what are you doing? Because I'll be there before I drive off or before I leave the store, punching in numbers like, how much is that? Down to the cent. I'm like, tell me down to the cent, how much was it? And I put it in the phone because I want to know where my money is going. You have to control that stuff. So that's one, budgeting. And the rich, they also pay themselves first. I know you've heard this, but please take it into account. Do it for yourself. Pay yourself 10% of whatever you earn. Even if you only earn $100, pay yourself $10. Put that stuff in the bank and then do whatever you need to do with the remaining 19%. Pay your bills with it. Do whatever else, but pay yourself 10% because only you can look out for you. If you're paying all your other bills, Uncle Sam and everybody else, and you don't even pay yourself, you the one who worked all those hours, 40 hours, 80 hours a week, and you can't even take care of you are playing yourself. So take that 10%, put it aside somewhere else, wherever you don't have to touch it for other things, and pay yourself. What that money now goes into is what you can use to invest. Now you take that money, you don't leave it sitting around because we don't want money sitting around that's not working for us. Your money should be your employee. It should go out there and work for you, slave for you, give birth for you, bring more money. Those kids and the grandkids of the money, they go out and work for you and bring more. It should produce, multiply. Now, one thing I was also doing incorrectly is I'll take 10%, pay myself, leave it in an account somewhere, and then maybe one day I'm like, I haven't gone to the mall in a long time. So I go, I'm like, I have all the savings, spend, and I'm good. But you don't do that. I mean, you can do that, but make sure you have other things in the future that are set already before you do that. So what do I mean? Make sure you're investing. Make sure you have something that remember I said your money needs to multiply. Make sure you're doing that. So that's why when you're budgeting, if you know you like to go shop, that's why you need to put in, okay, I like to go to the mall every once a month or however you like to spend, and put that money in your budget. Hey, you make $100 a month, you pay yourself 10%, and then you tell yourself, I want another, maybe I spend $5 to go to the mall. I'm going to budget it. Like, do that. That's how intense your budgeting needs to be. So, do your research on what to invest in. Stocks, mutual funds, real estate. Those are really where the rich put their money in. And they have investors that, guide them and talk to them about all those things. But before you even do that, if you owe any debts, pay your debts first before you even start to invest. If not, you're just deceiving yourself. And what I was doing is I was investing in Robinhood. I use that Robinhood app, and I was doing that. And then when I after I read all these books, I started calling some financial advisors. I'm like, hey, I want to, do this, even better than what I'm doing on Robinhood. And The first question they all ask me, and this is also Dave Ramsey's, he has this group, if you want to get more information on, managing your money, your funds, you call that number and they call you back. And Dave Ramsey, I guess he has a method where before you can even invest, make sure you've paid all your debts off. So I had a few credit cards. I still have, now I just have one. I had two, but this whole year I've, been paying off my credit cards. Like I paid off up to the next one. And I paid the card with the smallest amount. I paid that one off first because I'm the kind of person, I'm very visual. I like, reward. I like doing something and seeing the reward for it immediately. So, I had 3 cards. I paid off the smallest amount first. And when I did, I'm like, yes, oh my goodness, this feels so good. On to the next one, pay the next one. I'm like, yes, this feels so good. It makes you want to keep going so you could clear off all those credit cards. So I'm almost there. But yeah, those debts you have, pay them off first. I already started investing. The money I invested is still growing, but I stopped putting money to invest because I wanted to clear my debt because I knew it was very important. And when you start trying to do business or do other things with your line of credit, you find out how important it is for your credit to look very presentable. That's a topic for another day. So yeah, so pay your debts first and then you can save, keep saving 10%. Pay God 10%, pay your tithe. Now, people, I've debated with a lot of people, I've discussed with a lot of people that don't understand why you need to pay tithe or the meaning of it, or they say it's in the Old Testament and stuff like that. Okay, tithing could be whatever it needs to be to you as far as you're doing it unto God. In whatever form or fashion it is that you need to do it. So if you don't feel like taking your money to a house of worship because you feel the pastor in there is going to take your money and use it for their own personal gain, then have a conversation with God and say, hey God, this is what I feel, but there are people who need help and this could help them. How about I build your church in their lives and give this to them, the 10%? Let me find somewhere, some people, a lot of people that live on the streets, under the bridge, wherever you find them. How about you invest in that? And not just giving it to them, but also when you're doing that, why don't you put the word of God in their life and let them know you're doing this on behalf of God? So the glory goes back to God. Yes, I'm getting a little spiritual on y'all in this to happen because all these books I read, all those millionaires and wealthy people, in those books, all 5 of them, they all spoke about how they give money to God. Yes, so that's what I'm saying, and I've been doing it since my dad was giving me allowances or pocket money. I've been doing it since I was 10, if I remember correctly, because that's when I started going to the boarding school. So yeah, so that's that. So they give their money to God, they give to charity, so if you want to also pay your tithe and then also pay charity, they give money to God, because the more you give, the more you receive. That's the philosophy of it. That's why you see a lot of rich people having foundations and giving out money to the poor, different countries, and they still remain rich. Why? There's a reason why. They're not incorrect. They're doing something very, very right. And also, they invest in real estate. So when you get your funds and the back end all taken care of, they park their money in real estate and they fund different deals. They leave their money in there. They use it to buy another one and buy another one. So what they do is to build their net worth. If you think the house you're living in that you've bought is an asset, no, it's not, because if you don't have people paying you for that house, it's a liability to you. So you need to go ahead and find out how you can get some assets for yourself to own. What I mean is, you buy a real estate property, you have a tenant paying you something, they're taking care of that mortgage, it's not coming out of your pocket, but you still own it. It's awesome. Those of us who have made I won't call it a mistake, but those of us who bought our homes and just live in it, guess what? It's a liability, guys. Just finding that out. So your net worth, there's also an app to calculate your net worth. Every year you want your net worth to increase. And that's how millionaires are actually millionaires. They don't have $1 million sitting in the account. No, all their money is parked in investments and real estate. So to them, if they have 10 homes that cost $100,000 each, that's $1 million. That's what makes them millionaires, and that is their net worth. So if you go to the account, they might only have $5 in the account, because rich people, they don't play with cash. Cash is lazy. They don't want it. They want it to be circulating and multiplying. So that's something we also need to get in touch with. So those are like the major things that I picked from all those books. And one last thing I want to leave you with is the relationship you have with people, your network. That's something that also resonated with those books. And your network of people is very important. You want to keep maintaining that relationship. You want to put yourself in the other person's shoe to make them feel welcome and nice and happy with you. You want to speak to the person in the sense that you want them to feel like you're very interested in what they have to say. Give someone a praise sometime, tell someone they look good. Don't bring them down all the time. Ask people for their opinion and then wait for them to answer. Let them speak out their heart. And then you'll notice the more they speak, the more you get to know them. And then pick on one or two things that they spoke about and just, give a compliment on it or agree with it, even if they're right, or even if it was an idea that you brought up, but then they take it as theirs. It's okay. It's okay. Just give it to them. Give that credit to them. And you find out that you start having better relationships with people around you. And that helps along the way for different things, because everybody knows something different that you don't. Everybody knows something different that you don't. So it's very nice to, have a better relationship with people that are around you. So that's my spiel for today. I hope we're all moving towards the direction of becoming wealthy and being established and creating generational wealth, whatever it means to you, whatever you need wealth for. If it's to pay off your debt, to take care of your kids, your parents, yourself, to have a better life when you're older, or to, fund a cause. Maybe you're interested in helping the less fortunate, or people that are in third world countries, or even here in the United States, there are people who live on the streets and don't even know where their next meal is coming from. Be a person of purpose, and there's so many things we could do with our time and our lives and our money and help others, even if you feel like you're not there yet. But the way you start now is the way you're going to be when it actually comes. Money only amplifies the real person that we've always been. If you've been a very generous person, very positive, money will only amplify that. If you've been a very negative person, envious, jealous, wicked, or whatever, when you have money, it would only amplify that. So it doesn't change anybody, it just amplifies who you really were. Until next time, that's my spiel for today. Remember to follow us on Instagram, and I will catch up with you next time. Thank you and have a good day.